Hi, my relatives. Welcome back to another episode of Our Storytellers. On today's episode, we're joined by our good friend, John Spence. John is from the Squamish Nation with roots to the Haida Nation as well, too. John's story is a story of resilience and spiritual discovery. And, I'd love to raise my hands up to John because he's very vulnerable about his experience in trauma and how he's overcome it and how he's found ceremony as a way to heal. So I'm very grateful for the stories that he shared on here. We actually filmed it in his shop as well too, which was so cool to see. He's a carver, an artist, and I think he would say, even most importantly, a dad too. This episode of Our Storytellers is brought to you by our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office, who gave us the ability to fund these Squamish Nation podcasts as well too. We're very grateful to them. So I think without further ado, we'll just jump into John, and please welcome John Spence to the Our Storytellers podcast.
Hello, my relatives. How are you? Here at Our Storytellers, we care about your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being, which is why we want to inform you that this podcast discusses topics that may cause trauma to listeners and viewers. These subjects include mentions of Indian residential schools, assimilation, ongoing harm, colonial impacts, and much more. Our Storytellers recognizes the need to minimize risks associated with traumatic subject matter. The Hope for Wellness helpline offers immediate help to all Indigenous people across Canada. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to offer immediate support and crisis intervention. Services are available in English and French, and in Nehiyaw, Anishinaabe and Inuktitut upon request. If you or someone you know are experiencing any harm, no matter how big or small it's perceived to be, you can call the toll-free helpline at 1-855-242-3310 or connect to the online chat at www.hopeforwellness.ca. Kinanaskaman, I'm grateful for you. Your ancestors are always with you. All my relations, Riel.
John, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us for today. I have some protocol here for you, but my name's Riel. I'm Métis from Nehiyaw and Soto background. I joined Mom's family when I was 10, 11 years old, so I grew up with the brothers, and I live right over here at Mom's house. So the story goes, we got this grant from our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office, and I really wanted to make sure that I just went back to the community that's raised me for the past 6-7 years, and so it was really important for me to talk to the matriarchs and artists like yourself and ceremonial people like yourself too, and everyday people really that are out here living life. And so I got you this protocol just to make relations between your family and mine, and to just to ask you to come and sit down with us and share some stories and talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. So I'm going to stand up and pass this over to you in the most non-technical fashion ever. But hey, thank you so much for coming to sit down. Yeah, appreciate it. Please introduce yourself in your own way.
Oh, beautiful blanket. Hasquile Tanoyap. John Spence, or C. Toston. C. Toston's my ancestral name given to me by my mother. Her ancestral name is C. Tossanot. So I have the male, the elders said it's the male carver version. So there's a male, there's two different male versions of her name. And the one they thought was for me was the carver because I'm a carver. So just awesome. Recently acquired that name. So, but my government name is John Spence. I'm from Homolcheson Village, people of the water. I'm also Haida. My dad comes from Old Masset, Queen Charlotte Islands, Haida Gwaii. So I'm Squamish and Haida, and I tell everyone I'm Squida.
You took a
Nice.
shot for me.
Top way.
Yeah,
As
quite
the
a
Cree
guy.
say.
It's quite a guy. That's
Quite a guy. John is quite a guy.
His
Yeah,
shot,
so-
not my shot.
So I was born and raised here, Homolchison Village, Capilano Reserve.
Yeah.
I'm 55 years old, born in 1970.
What was growing up like here?
Growing up here was a lot of fun. We had our ups and downs, our challenges, but there was a big group of kids here that really got along, and we played so many games together, like hide and seek. When we were kids, we would gather across the street on those cement steps there, my neighbor's house, about 30 kids, and we'd decide which game we're going to play. So somebody said, we're going to play hide and seek tonight. So 30 or 40 of us, we would use the entire reserve as our playground. So it was very challenging to find somebody. They had the craziest hiding spots.
Take you
We
hours.
would play hide and seek till the sun came up. Yeah. We played another game called Kick the Can. So we set up a can in front of the steps, and one person was it, and they'd go out and find you. If you were able to sneak by him and kick the can, he would have to do it again. But if he captured you, and then you'd be a part of that team, and you would go out. So we had all these games, eh?
Yeah.
We had my favorite one growing up was tree tag. We could sure climb trees when we were kids. So in the alley back here, we called it the back alley when we were kids, and they had these vine maple trees that would twist in all different shapes, and you used to be able to run up them and run along them, and then we would jump tree to tree to tree, and we had this natural playground.
Like jungle gym or something.
Yeah.
like that.
It's like a jungle gym, and it was natural, and we would play tree tag for years and years. That was my favorite one. So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We all played sports. My favorite one was street hockey. We all played street hockey.
Class.
We played football at the park. There used to be a golf course here. We golfed. Of course, we played lacrosse. Lacrosse has always been big, and soccer. We played in native ball hockey tournaments, and we would travel all over the Vancouver Island and up north, so lots of sports, lots of fun games. And most of my time in the summer, I basically lived at the river. My mom, sometimes she'd be like, "Where is JP? I don't know where he is." And she would yell around and ask people. And then later on down the road, she just knew I was at the river.
Yeah.
That's where I basically lived. We fished day and night at the river. And all my family was there. All my older siblings, my cousins, aunties, uncles, everybody was at the river in the summertime. So that's basically where I was most of the time. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I have a question. I've always wanted to know this about the nation. I haven't found someone who can answer this question yet, but I've asked a lot of people. How did lacrosse get so big here? Do you know?
All I know is my grandfather. And my grandfather, he passed away in 1990. He was born 1914. So in the 1940s, he was playing professional lacrosse. So I don't know how it came from over here, but I don't know that history, how it came here.
I've been trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
What's your grandfather's?
Chief Simon Baker, he's right there.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Chief Simon Baker, his ancestral name is Kotlacha.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Squamish elders that were in the Hall of Fame. So it's been here for a long time. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I always wanted to know how the game came here. I'm trying to find someone but yeah. What were your parents like? Like, mom's upstairs, but
My mom was very very kind, loving, very supportive. Made sure to get us up in the morning. Made sure we're fed, clothed, off to school. Brought us to sports, lacrosse, soccer. My dad, unfortunately, was not so kind. He's very grumpy, very strict. So my dad was a residential school survivor. So growing up, I didn't know why he was so strict and so. He had all these strict rules, and he was very disciplined, and there was consequences if he didn't. So we kind of feared. We did fear him, eh? So it was tough. It was tough living with him. But we didn't. I grew up thinking he was mean. I was thinking that he didn't like me. I actually thought he hated me.
Wow.
And there was a lot of mental abuse. Physical abuse for sure. So a lot of us were hit, smacked, spanked. But he got very violent when he was drunk. He would come home and basically come home like a tornado. And everybody would flee the house.
Yeah.
And if you got caught in his path, you get physically hurt. So it was tough. It was tough growing up with him. And then when he was sober, he was kind of, he was sorry for what he did, but he was still had his ways, eh? So I never knew. None of us knew why he was that way. We didn't find out till when they first came out with the application to get the money for the residential school.
Right.
And he applied for it. And then we're like, well, that kind of explains things. Is that my phone going off?
that's all good.
It is. It's all good.
Sorry, Morgan. Oh,
We'll call you back.
yeah. I turned it off. Should I continue?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
So my dad, we found out he was in residential school when he first applied for that money, and that made a lot of sense. Of not till later in life we started learning about the residential school and what happened to the children in there. The elders knew, but a lot of them kept it a secret. They didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So I grew up with we don't talk about feelings. If my feelings were hurt, suck it up. My parents would say things like, "What are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry for."
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Give you a reason to cry.
Yeah, if you think that's a reason to cry, I'll give you a reason to
Yeah.
cry. So at some point in my life, I stopped crying. My older brothers and cousins would call me a sissy, a wimp, every name in the book, to not allow you to show emotions. So unfortunately, when you suppress that sadness, that hurt, you go to your secondary emotion, which is anger. So I became angry as a kid, as a youth. So, and then I got into all the friends and group of people that I hung out here with. A lot of them were drinking. My cousins, all my friends my age, my peers, aunties, uncles, parents, grandparents, everybody was drinking. So I joined in. And I remember the first time I drank way too much. I think it was vodka or something. And
Wow.
my brother found me passed out in the park. My younger brother packed me home. And my parents were upset, and I got grounded, and I was sick. I think I had alcohol poison. Yeah, so that happened a few times. Started to be a regular thing, me drinking and getting drunk. So alcohol is supposed to be a sociable thing. For me, it was never sociable. Like, I would go to parties for sure, but it wasn't just to socialize. Like, I was like, I believe, I know now that I was an alcoholic. I had a problem with alcohol, or drugs became a problem. So I started going down this dark path. And it was hard because I had my grandfather, Chief Simon Baker, who used to dress me up in regalia when I was knee-high. Head to toe moccasins, paddle jacket, drum. He was teaching me the songs, the dances, and he had high hopes for me. And he taught me a lot about spirituality. So when I started hitting 12, 13, started hanging out with all the people that were drinking, a lot of those behaviors came out. The anger was there, the violence. So with all that came a lot of guilt and shame. A lot of guilt and shame that I started to carry. People were upset with me. People were mad at me. People were... So I started going down this dark path from age of 13, I think, right up until I was 43. A lot of drinking and drugging, violence, stealing. So I remember my grandfather, who taught me so much as a kid. You know, I'd stopped following my grandfather around, going to him for advice, singing, drumming. Just all the culture was behind me. So my grandfather wrote a book called Katlacha, and we're so proud of him. The family is so proud. My grandpa wrote a book. My grandfather was in a lot of movies and stuff. He was like an actor. He was my hero, And then when he gave me a book, he personally handed me one of his books, and he signed it. And in the front page it said, "Grandson, you better change your ways before it's too late." That's what he wrote in my book,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So he was watching me,
Yeah.
He's still watching me.
He's right over here. We'll get a shot of him.
I was saying to my son that that's how this community is.
Yeah.
It's one of our ways, right?
Yeah.
We watch everybody. I said, they're watching us. They know we're coming when we talk to people and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, what a really beautiful statement when you say that, you know, and he loves you. He loved you so much to say such a beautiful thing to you.
Yeah.
What was he like? Like
my grandfather?
Yeah. Like, what was he like on the normal? Because you knew him as a grandfather, and other people knew him.
Well, he was. His name says it all. Katlacha, man with a kind heart.
Yeah.
He had a huge heart.
Yeah.
We had an old house here, old wartime house. My parents got it in the 1950s or something. Came from Ambleside or West Van.
Yeah.
They bought it for $100. This big 2-story house, and they moved it here. But anyways, my grandfather just lived over there. So my dad, when he was raging alcoholic, he would come home and just tear through the house. So when we were just little guys, my mom would pick us up and run out the side door, and then we'd go over to Grandpa's. And my dad had a lot of respect for my grandfather. Like, he was highly respected. And so he would never go over there. So we didn't have any fear of him coming to harm us over there. So we were safe. We run into Grandpa's and we're safe. And he would say, "Come here, grandson." And he would hug me and he says, "Is your dad acting up again?" And he says, "The next time he does that, here's what you do. You just run up and kick him in the shin hard as you can and run away." That's what my grandpa would tell me what to do,
I love it.
And then he would he had spare rooms with beds, And he would pack me and put me in the bed and put my blanket over me and tuck me in. He would tell me stories. He was very kind and gentle. And he was giant. He was like 6'2" or 6'3", eh?
Yeah.
And he must have been about 240, 250. He was really big. He was really big. And I remember a lot of times we would go over there for family dinners, Christmas, birthdays, weddings. He had a big yard, so there was a lot of gatherings there. And I'd say, "Hey, Grandpa," and he would do, he'd do this to me. It seemed like his finger was that long. I was like,
Couldn't escape it, eh?
my grandpa, he heard what I've been up to. Grandson. So, he put me in my place, eh?
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to tell me that. He heard things about me. He's been watching me, and he cares about me. But after he did that to me, he'd put me on his lap and he'd bounce me and hold me. So he just let me know, "Hey, I heard you. You're not doing right." So he let me know.
Wow.
First thing, he'd address it. And then he'd put me on his lap and show me love, kindness, joy, laughter, tickle me.
Balance. Beautiful balance.
So he was, I really, really loved going to see him. I loved spending time with him. I loved his knowledge. I loved his humor. I really loved how he kept the family all, like it was just me, like the whole family. Everybody looked up and listened to him, eh? So,
What was your grandmother like?
My grandmother was very small, petite, really soft voice, also very kind, very generous. I think she's like my mom, a busybody, always doing something. Every time I went over there, she was sewing or crocheting or knitting or gardening. When we had gatherings, she did all the cooking. She did all the cleaning. Every birthday, she had a birthday card for me. Couldn't wait to open it. $20 every time. Christmas, $20.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So there was 9 of us in my family, eh?
Yeah.
And they had, my grandparents had 9 kids. They had a lot of grandchildren.
Yeah.
And great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
So she remembered everybody's birthday and had a card for them. All year long, she would save up things. She would find things and gifts, and she would save money, and she made sure she didn't forget anybody's birthday. And she always had $20 in there for everyone. So she was very generous. And
You come from a generous family, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandmother, my grandparents, they were born in 1911. And at 14 and 15, they were married. So the grandparents, it was arranged marriage.
Oh.
The grandparents picked, and they also decided that my grandfather was going to be the knowledge keeper. So he went to live with his grandmother, Mary Capilano, and she gave him all the teachings, the culture, the protocols. So they were married very young, an arranged marriage.
Traditionally.
Yeah. And they were married for 75 years.
Yeah.
75 years.
Told you arranged marriages.
Yeah.
We've talked about that,
Yeah.
the practice of how that works, right? So
My grandfather, he passed away when he was 90. And my grandmother lived to 105.
Wow.
beautiful.
105. And I'll tell you a story. It's a true story about my grandparents. So 75 years of marriage. After my grandpa died, 10 years later, my grandma was 100. And my grandfather used to love spending time at the Elder Center. He was always down there. And he always had humor and jokes. He's like a trickster. And So anyways, the elders felt there was a spirit in there. Things were falling off the wall. Things were moving around. The elders started getting scared. So they called in this medium, indigenous lady from Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
She could talk to the spirits. So they waited a long time. She finally came up, and everyone gathered at the elder center. As soon as she walked in, she said, "Yep, there's a spirit here. I feel him. I feel him right now." And they're like, "Wow, really?" And she says, "Yep, I'm getting the name Simon." And they're like, right away, the elders were relieved. They were happy. They said, "Oh, it's Uncle Simon. He was always playing tricks on us."
Everything's okay now.
So they're happy it was my uncle. And then she says, he has a message. And they said, "Oh, he has a message for somebody." And they're like, "Oh, well, who's the message for?" And then she says, "I'm getting the name Emily." And everyone starts yelling, "That's his wife. She's right there. She's still alive. She's 100 now." And then they said, "What's the message?" And the message is, "Tell Emily to hurry up."
Oh, that's just beautiful. He's waiting for
Yeah,
it.
they said, "Oh, he's still a jokester. Oh, maybe he's not joking."
That's awesome.
That's a
so
beautiful story.
That's how my grandmother and grandfather was. Lots of stories, a lot of history.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, my relatives, super quick pause in this episode of Our Storytellers just to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office. The Indigenous Screen Office supports Indigenous narrative sovereignty through storytelling on screen. They provide grants to small podcasts like us to support our growth and to support the guests that we can have come on. Big thanks to them. Please check them out on Instagram. Please check out their website. You never know, there might be an opportunity for you on there, especially if you're creating content. Get out there and check them out. Thank you so much to our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office. Back to the podcast.
Yeah. So growing up, were you going to school? Did you like high school? What was that like?
Yeah, Norgate School was right here.
Yeah.
They used to have a bus that would come. It's only 2 blocks, but they had a bus
Pick
there,
you
and we'd
up.
all pile in it and go to, yeah.
2
I remember
blocks.
that. I remember going, catching the bus to
That's
Norgate
funny.
Elementary School. And I loved it there because I had all my siblings there, my cousins. And I remember my anger from very young, being in a group of other kids. I remember in kindergarten, I was building blocks, making this castle. Had this massive castle, took me all morning to build it.
Oh.
Some other kid came and knocked it over, and I attacked him. I pushed him, he fell over, he was crying. And the teacher was saying, "You can't do that." And I said, "Yeah, but my castle." But now, looking back, I realized that I had that explosive anger.
Oh.
And in grade 1, there was another kid who had the same thing as me. He was non-Indigenous, but he had that explosive anger too. And him and I were throwing chairs at each other
Ooh.
in grade 1.
Wow.
By grade 3, I had my favorite teacher. Her name was Mrs. Midzane, and she was so kind to me. The principal used to come in the classroom and grab me, by the scruff of the neck. He'd run me down the hall. He would throw me in the chair, and he would yell at me.
Wow.
And and I was scared of him. And "I'm calling your parents, and if my parents came to get me, I was going to get a beating by my dad." So I wasn't really scared of him.
Yeah.
Because grabbing me by the neck is nothing. My dad would really beat me, so I didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
So anyways, Mrs. Midzane started intervening I'll take them. I'll take them. So when she had a math class, she would bring me into the classroom and sit me next to her. Yeah, and then she had these really nice candies. They're really expensive, like what were they? They're these like little toffee candies. So she had a whole box of them. And if I went the whole day without fighting, she'd give me a candy.
Ooh. Awesome.
If I made it a whole week, I would get a comic book.
Nice.
She was giving me all these rewards for doing good, eh?
You're incentivized.
She started noticing that I loved climbing. I was like the master in the jungle gym. Like nobody could catch me, eh? Because we used to play tree tag.
Tree tag,
So
that was your favorite
gym was-
game?
You were trained.
Yeah. So yeah, like, and so she had me going and changing lights on the ladders.
Oh, I love
Like,
it. That's
even-
great.
She even had me working with the janitor. Like I would go into the gymnasium and I'd be way up high. No safety ropes. They're like, just send JP up there. So she had me doing all these things in the school, and she
Kept you
got me-
busy.
yeah, she kept me busy, got me connected, feeling a part of. Started making me feel good about myself, rewarding me. She'd even bring me to her house up in Lynn Valley. They had a swimming pool. They had foosball table. They had air hockey. They had all these things. We don't have none of that stuff in my house. My dad had a pool table, but we weren't allowed to touch it. So anyways,
Wow.
yeah, so I had really good grades. I knew I was really good at math. And I think she had a lot to do with it because she was the math teacher. She was the math teacher, and
She taught the way that worked for you to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she
yeah,
really
so,
kind of got
yeah.
to know you as a person.
yeah, and
That's a
so
great
elementary
teacher.
was good. I remember in elementary school they had after school curriculum, and they had downhill skiing. So when they brought out those lists, you had to be the first one at school, because if you got there late, there was no more room on that. One year I got there late. The only thing left was cross country skiing. So grade 3, I was 3, 4, 5, and 6. I was downhill skiing. So they taught me. We got rentals. We got free lunches, everything. So that was something I really loved about Norgate. A lot of my friends became, man, we could have been professional skiers. We're really good. We're really brave. We're really talented. So yeah.
Were you growing up hunting too, or
No, fishing
fishing?
on the Capilano River.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't a hunter. My dad didn't do culture, residential school, survivor. My mom was kind of the opposite. See, my grandfather was in residential school, and he was a foreman, longshoreman for a long time, and he had a lot of connections. He also worked for Air Canada. He would put on his regalia. They would fly him all around the world. He'd get off the plane and drum and sing and promote tourism. So he had a lifetime membership with Air Canada. Eh? He'd go anywhere they want, him and my grandma.
Yeah.
So anyways, when my grandfather, my mom, and her siblings, the Indian agents were coming onto the reserve to take kids to the residential school. And my grandpa knew what that was because he was in there. A couple of his siblings died in residential school. And he knew the horrors. And he told them, "You're not taking my kids. You're not taking them." He told that Indian agent, "Get off my reserve." And he kept his kids all in the house for a long time until he talked to some people, and he got my parents into Capilano Heights public school.
Yeah.
So my parents and some others were the very first ones to get into public school. So a lot of them were in public school. A lot of my aunts and uncles married non-Indigenous people. They didn't have culture. My mom didn't have any culture. So my mom's culture was go to work, come back, go to bingo.
Come back.
That's her culture. Go to bingo. After bingo, sometimes they'd come home, check on us. Sometimes they'd go right to the bar. So it'd be work, bingo, bar, all through the week.
Yeah.
Weekends were worse. They would be gone for the whole weekend drinking. They'd be across the street at our relatives. They'd be down the street at our relatives. They'd be at, there was a couple local pubs that they all went to. One was the St. Alice. The other one was called the Big O.
I think I remember the name of that.
Yeah, that's where they would be. They would be in the bar until it closed, 1 or 2 in the morning, and then they would have an after hours party. So if they weren't out in the community partying, they would bring the party home. So the house was full of relatives, and they were all drinking. And so I remember my dad would put all the kids in one room, and he would tell us, you don't dare peek your head out of there to the little ones, to us little ones, eh? Because there was a lot of drunk people, violence, sexual abuse was all through the community as a result of the residential school, eh? So my dad was very strict, and he said if you want to go to the washroom, which was just across the hall, you'd have to yell for mom or dad, and they would bring you to the washroom.
Yeah.
And if anyone opens this door, yell for me. So we'd have to, sometimes we'd have to walk out because the music was so loud and they're socializing, and we'd have to basically go tug on their shirt and say, hey, I gotta go to the washroom. So they'd bring us to the washroom, back to the room. And then I remember one of my older cousins would open the door and peek his head in and say, oh, hi, kids. And he would come in. And we were like, you're not supposed to be in here. And then we'd yell, Dad, Dad. And Dad come running down. And he says, I told every one of you not to go in my kid's room. What are you doing in there? And the guy says, I'm just looking for the washroom. And my dad would just hit him. Like, my dad was really tough, eh?
Yeah.
He was like one of the toughest guys on the reserve, and he hit people and they were out. So I remember 3 or 4 guys tried to come into our bedroom, and he would basically knock them out. And then he would turn the music off and he would address the whole party. He would say, this is what happens if you try to go into my kid's room. So he would let them know that he doesn't stand for that stuff there. So that's kind of how it was. So there was that was the culture.
Yeah.
Everybody drank.
Yeah.
Everybody drank. All my relatives, all my aunties, uncles, even great aunts and uncles were there. Like, so there was no drumming, no singing. There was no, my mom didn't carry any culture. My dad, I think it was beaten out of him. So, my grandfather was the only one who taught me culture. Eh?
And so he learned from the matriarch, his grandmother, Mary Capilano.
Yeah.
Did he ever tell you stories about her?
Yeah, he did. He told me many stories about her. He told me that, like my grandmother, Emily, she was very short and petite and soft-spoken, and she was a hard worker. She was a berry picker. She had her own baskets. She weaved out of cedar. She would go across the Capilano River before the bridges were there.
Yeah.
And on the other side where Park Royal is where all the berries were. So she'd be over there picking berries.
Yeah.
She would paddle across before Lionsgate Bridge was there. At low tide, it was just a big sandbar. That's what my grandpa said. He said there was like one stream going down the middle when the tide was coming out. But he said you could throw a rock across to Stanley Park.
Yeah.
On low tide, you could walk all the way out. And he said that she would be down there picking clams. Everything was down there. All the seafoods were there. Crabs, clams, everything. She would paddle across the Stanley Park and she would pick berries. Then she would go into Vancouver and trade them. So she would go trade them for fabric. And then she would come home and make clothes for the kids and grandkids and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, and
Always busy.
yeah, they lived down by the beach before the bridge was there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my grandpa told me stories about her. One time, it was late at night, and she hadn't come home. She was over 100 years too. She was still doing everything.
Yeah.
And it became late at night, and they're worried about her. And they went out looking for her. They couldn't find her. And late at night, she came home, and it was pouring rain. And she came walking in all soaked with her 2 baskets full of berries. And they said, "Where were you, Grandma? What happened?" And she said, "Well, I was on the other side picking berries very late. And then the storm rolled in. It started raining really hard. And the river rose.
She couldn't get back across.
So she tried to wade across, and she ended up all the way down Ambleside. By the time she got across. And she still had her
2 baskets of berries.
Yeah, and then she had to walk all the way
Well,
back
you
up.
don't leave them behind after you
so
work all that.
Yeah, those are some stories
Oh,
of my
that's amazing.
grandmother. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
Yeah. So she was really a very strong knowledge keeper, and she understood all of the harvesting, processing, caring for everything. Incredible.
Yeah.
How do you like to cook your fish?
I like to barbecue it.
Mm.
Yeah, I like or fry it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to ask you that because sometimes I get it great, sometimes I get it not so great. So you gotta you gotta figure that out, you know.
Yeah. Well, I grew up on the river, and we used to utilize things, like the Park Royal shopping mall there. So we would build little dams, and we'd take a shopping cart and we'd put it in the middle of the dam so the water would flow through.
Yeah.
And then the salmon would go up and they'd hit the
stuck
shopping cart and get stuck there, and we'd just scoop them up. And then we'd use another shopping cart and we'd put wood in there and make a fire, so that was our grill with the metal shopping cart.
So that's how I like my fish cooked.
We learned how to cook on a shopping cart. So
I love it.
That makes more sense. How have you how have you noticed like we're doing these podcasts? I think we're on episode 14 or something like that, 13 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How have you noticed how the environment and like urbanization has changed the lands around
Community.
here?
Oh man, when you ask me that question, I start to feel old. I'm 55 years old. I was born in 1970. And I remember my grandpa telling me stories. Man, when I was a kid, there's nothing but trees here. And I was like, yeah, old time stories. And now,
You're telling them.
I've witnessed so many changes.
Yeah.
So many changes.
Yeah.
When I was 5 or 6 years old, they started building the International Plaza.
Yeah.
It was just a big, huge hole in the ground. And I was so fascinated because they had this crane that went halfway down Capilano Road. They were setting up the crane to build the International Plaza. And I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I said, this crane is massive. And then they stood it up. And my older brothers, they would bring me up there, and we actually would open the fence and we'd go into the construction area. And they had quite a few levels built, and we'd go up the stairs, and we'd go up there and we'd get a view of everything.
Yes.
It's 26 stories. When it was built, we would go all the way to the top, and we would look out, and we'd throw things down, and security would chase us out of there. But that was the only building. There was a couple of big buildings in West Vancouver,
Right.
but there was only one high rise in all of North Vancouver. It was the International Plaza. For a lot of my years, just recently they started building adjacent to the International Plaza, 3 or 4 towers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you look up on Lonsdale area, there's massive high rises everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all in Vancouver, there's so many high rises. It's so busy. Traffic has got insane. When I was a kid, they had this thing called a Sunday drive. You get up Sunday morning,
Yeah, go for a
there's
drive.
nobody around for miles.
Yes.
You could drive anywhere. You could go to all your destinations. You could go shopping. You could go hiking. You could go to the rivers. You could go to Squamish. Sunday drives are the best. There was nobody on the road. There's only a couple people. So.
And now it's Sunday
Sunday's just
Sunday
like
from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Traffic's the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it gets worse on the weekends now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
Unless
that's-
it's like
yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning, because I
Yeah.
just drove from Chilliwack this morning, and it was like nice. Yeah. It was like cruising in the old days when you could just, there wasn't anybody.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of good.
The same with the trees. Like we used to play tree tag.
Yeah.
That back alley is full of trees. There was no development down here for housing yet. Old Capilano was only 1, 2, 3 streets. 3 streets this way, so it's 3 blocks, maybe 4 blocks. And then the other side of Capilano Road was about the same.
Yeah.
Matthias Street on the other side was all bush, right to the river.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
thing there was the trailer park.
Yeah.
So there was massive trees, lots of trees, lots of trails. That all got developed for housing. All of this side's developed for housing. They have the Chief Joe Matthias Center, the Little Ones School. Down further near Lionsgate Bridge, they have the where all the IS Muntman and all those buildings are now. So
Yeah.
where the sweat lodges are,
Yeah.
there's a little parcel of land with trees left, and they have plans to develop that too. Maybe a
Yeah.
high school or something.
It's
So
the
there's
last standing
There's going to
tree.
be
Eh?
no more parks or trees, forests.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was lots when I was a kid. So like, I remember my grandfather saying that. Now I'm saying it. There used to be a lot of trees. Now there's none. That's why I feel old saying that. But you know what? Recently, when they had the heat bubble,
Yeah.
Oh,
couple years ago.
yeah.
yeah, it was a massive heat bubble, and I was at the sweat lodge. 11 a.m. We're about to do a sweat lodge at noon. So a lot of times I'm down there and it's just nobody's arrived yet. It's me and the firekeeper, maybe a couple others, and the birds and the animals. So all of a sudden the trees started making noises. They started crackling. And I was like, we thought it was a woodpecker. We thought maybe there was bugs chewing at the trees or something, but all of the big cedars and the firs, they all started making crackling noises, and we were kind of freaking out. We were running around listening to them, and that's when we realized it was so hot. The trees, every one of them died,
Oh.
every one of them, all through that, all the giant cedars, all the Douglas firs, all the big trees, they all died. So they're saying it, a lot of those trees are dying from moths, but on that heat bubble, I heard them all.
You heard them die?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, now a lot of them are still standing, but they're dead, so we've been cutting them down and using them for wood, but all through Stanley Park, you see now they're thinning it out and cutting down all those giants.
Yeah.
They're claiming the moth killed them.
That it wasn't.
I don't
You-
think it. I
You
don't
think it
believe-
was the same thing,
I
that
think it
there
was
was
the
a
heat bubble, because the next year they didn't come back. All the ones that during the winter they were bare. Spring they started budding again. After that heat bubble, all those ones that they didn't come
stopped
back. Yeah, they
budding.
died that day. That one day where in that little town that burned down.
Mm-hmm.
Lytton?
Yeah.
That day it hit 50 degrees there.
Yes, it
One
did.
of the hottest spots on the planet.
Yeah.
50 degrees, Lytton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whole town burnt down.
And then after that it burnt down because one little spark. So
Yeah,
the
CP rail.
Same thing with here. So those are some of the things that to me and a lot of people, it could be scary, eh? When you start to think of how Mother Nature is basically dying, eh? And my teacher, one of my teachers, he taught me a lot about prophecies, and he studied prophecies, eh?
Mm-hmm.
He has a doctor. He's a doctor, eh? And he studied culture and language and storytelling on all the continents. Like, he not only indigenous communities, he went all around the world and studied, and a lot of the cultures and a lot of different people have prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
The Hopis. So he said they all have a common one of Armageddon or the end. And he said he believes it's not the end. It's always a new beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you've had meteors hit the earth, it's replenished.
Yeah.
They've had great floods, all the land was underwater. It came back and had the ice age, the planet was covered in ice, came back. So he says it's always the earth just replenishing, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when he was telling me about all the prophecies that all these cultures have, and a lot of them have been fulfilled, one of the biggest ones for indigenous people is the white buffalo. He said when the white buffalo comes, it's one of the last prophecies. And if it's the true prophecy, the white buffalo calf will be born white. It'll turn yellow, it'll turn brown, and then it'll turn black, and then back to white again. And that buffalo, I think it was in Alberta or something. It was all over the news. People all around the world came and they said it did that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
It changed those colors. So he said a lot of the prophecies have been fulfilled. So we're getting close to not the end, but the new beginning. Because I was starting to freak out when he's telling all me these prophecies, eh? And I was like, "What are we gonna do?" and he starts laughing, and he says, "There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do, and all you can do is you go and look after yourself. I mean, like, look after your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look after your soul and your spirit, and make sure you're in a good place." So I really took that to heart, and of course I was already into culture, but that really led me into running sweat lodges and following the sun dance and just really connecting to my spirit. And in my language, we have a word called Natsamat, and it means not only are we all related, but we have a relationship to everything. And that's the grass, the trees, the water, the planets, the universe. It's everything, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So I really get connected to that. Yeah, the culture.
Mm-hmm. When did you start reconnecting with your culture? Or with
Oh
culture?
man, yeah. So fighting, drinking, relationships that struggled fell apart. I was disconnected from my mom, my dad, my uncles, aunties, siblings. All we did was fight. We had so much resentment towards, anger. Like we would let go of things, and we would carry on with the day, the week. But it was very a lot of dysfunction, and a lot of anger, a lot of violence, mental abuse. So there's a lot of broken relationships, hardship, in and out of jail. And I was in jail 3 times for some violence, fighting. So the last time I was in jail, I think it was 2 years. I got a 2-year sentence. So I had a lot of time to be alone and to think about my life. And one thing I knew is I didn't want to become a lifer.
Right.
When I got inside,
Where were you?
they sent me eventually, after all the court was over, remand, which is pre-trial. Fraser Corrections is pre-trial.
Right.
You're in there until the court's done. So eventually, after I was sentenced, they sent me to a place called Alouette River.
Oh, yes.
Alouette River Corrections. And
Up in the back.
yeah,
of
Alouette River,
Mission
yeah.
area.
Oh,
Yeah. They got a
So-
big place up there.
I had a 2-year sentence. So by the time I got there, they gave me double time for all the time I was on remand. So I think I was there for 6 months.
Right.
So I got 1 year already done. And I think I got 2.5 years. So I had 18 months to do at Alouette River Camp. And I remember my first assignment after I was settled in, they split firewood for all the parks.
Nice.
All the parks. So there's a big pile of firewood, and they give you an axe, and you start chopping wood. And you get, what is it? 7 cents a day? 7 cents a day you get, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 7 cents an hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah. It's
So-
it's nominal, right? Yeah.
So then, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you line up, you go into the kitchen, you got a tray, they put food on your tray. And someone was putting food on my tray, and I looked up, and it was my cousin.
Hey.
And he says, "Hey, cousin," he says, "I'm going to get you a job in the kitchen." Oh yeah. So the wood pile was $3 a day.
Yeah.
That's what I got paid, $3 a day.
Awesome.
So the next day, the officer comes. He says, "Hey, we got you a job in the kitchen." My cousin pulled some strings, so he must have told him I was a cook or something. So the next day, they told me what to do in the kitchen. I said, "You're getting paid $7 a day." I was like, "Oh, a big raise!"
You got a raise.
So then I started. After I've been there for a while, I started realizing not only did I have a few relatives there,
Yeah.
3 or 4 cousins in there, and but there was about 80% indigenous people.
Yeah.
75 to 80% were indigenous, and
Yeah.
all the indigenous hung out together. And then
Most of the prison.
there was only one. There was maybe 3 Oriental people. They all worked in the kitchen. They were like chefs,
Huh?
Really funny guys. I only seen one African American, and when I seen him, he got attacked by I think 10 of the Aryan crew. There was an Aryan crew in there, and they attacked this African guy. He's the only African guy I seen in jail.
Huh.
The Aryan crew wouldn't attack indigenous people like that. because there were so many of us. They had to respect the indigenous people. They're like, believe me, if they could, they would attack us.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Outside, it's the other way around.
when I went into the gym or the workout room, they made it very clear they didn't want me near them. Yeah, they made jokes. They made fun of me. They tried to intimidate me. And so I just stayed clear of them, man. So anyways, after I started meeting indigenous people, they invited me to a talking circle. Hey, they call me Spence. Hey, Spence, come to the talking circle. And I said, what is that? I said, just come, you'll find out. And they had this eagle feather. They had a smudge bowl. And they taught me how to smudge. First time I ever smudged was in jail. And first time I ever did a talking circle was in jail. And I passed that eagle feather. When I got that eagle feather, I got goosebumps, eh? Because my grandpa came to me. My grandpa always talked about the eagle feather. And he said, grandson, anytime you're struggling, that eagle will appear. If you're having trouble, that eagle will show up. When I remember I was in the paddy wagon, I was going to jail. And I looked out and there was an eagle flying next to me. When they stopped and transferred me at the pre-trial, I looked out my window and an eagle flew by. They transferred me to the camp, there was an eagle following me.
Yeah.
And then that eagle feather came in that talking circle and I got the goosebumps and my grandpa came to me and I could hear him saying, hold that eagle feather. It's like you're holding an eagle. It represents that eagle. And that eagle sits right under the Creator. And it takes all your dreams and all your prayers and brings it up to the Creator. That's what that eagle does. And so when I held that feather in the talking circle, I got all these goosebumps and I didn't talk to people. I didn't talk about feelings. I was taught not to. These grown men are all talking about feelings. I'm not a sissy. I'm not a wimp. And I had that inside mentality. Yes, I'm a tough guy and don't mess with me. If I talk about my feelings, and then everyone's going to think I'm a wimp and they're going to pick on me. My brothers taught me that when I was little there. They said because I come home with a black eye or a fat lip. I say, that big kid, punch me. My brother would bring me down here and make me fight him, man. Stand up for yourself. He said, if you let that kid pick on you, he's going to pick on you your whole life. And everybody's going to pick on you. Is that what you want? Ran after that kid immediately. Bigger than me, but
I gotta do it.
So in jail, I had those teachings since I was little. And when that feather came to me, my grandpa was saying, this is the powerful. If you ever need to talk, you can't talk. Whether it's in a group or in a crowd or at anything, you hold that feather. So it started pouring out. Things that happened to me, things I went through, things I was feeling, and the guys came up and hugged me. Really big guys, dudes with tattoos and teardrop tattoos.
Mean guys.
They're hugging me, and I was like, what's going on here? And I was confused, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I liked it. Smell of the sage calmed me down. Talking about things was good, and I felt a part of something there. Eh? Then they said, hey, come to the sweat lodge. And I said, sweat lodge? What is a sweat lodge? They said, just come.
Yeah.
So they had this sweat lodge. It was an underground one, and they had all these beams, and they covered it with dirt, so it just looked like a mound. But you go around the other side, they had a doorway. And they brought in 125 rocks.
Oh.
And these guys were standing up because you could stand up in there, eh?
Oh.
They were standing up over the rocks, banging their chest and screaming and growling. Oh, they called it a warrior sweat, eh?
Oh.
And there's me on the ground. On the ground. Holy, my very first sweat.
Holy.
There was an elder there. His name was Old Hands.
Oh,
And,
yes. Yeah.
Old Hands.
I know
And,
him.
Yeah. Still does it today. This is
Quetzal.
30 years ago now.
Yeah.
So anyways, the sweat was over and I felt great. I felt like I was cleansed. They opened the door and let me out, and something made me look up, eh? And there was the eagle flying about 10 feet. I could feel the wind. And I looked up and there was another one above it, and then another one above it, and it went up like
Beautiful.
this.
Spiral.
And I counted 12 of them. Wow. One up directly above the sweat lodge. 12 of them all circling. Oh man, and I got the goosebumps again, and I realized, my grandpa's here. I remember the feather. I was talking about feelings. I'm in the sweat lodge, and I see these eagles, and I got connected. My spirit got connected. Felt like it got aligned.
Mm-hmm.
All this anger, all this fear. Why am I here? Why am I locked up? Why is everyone picking on me? Why does everyone hate me? All these questions and all this anger, it all left me. It all said, JP, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Beautiful.
And you're going to be okay.
Nice.
So your grandfather was talking to you.
Yeah, I got spiritually
beautiful.
connected in prison.
Hi, my relatives. If you're enjoying this podcast, or if you have any feedback on this podcast, please let us know, because we're always trying to get better at the same time. But especially if you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we have some really cool projects coming out that you might want to check out. Please follow us on Spotify. Share our reels as well too. That helps us out so much. And yeah, just check us out. Share the word. We're working really hard to keep this content coming for you. And the support helps us out so much, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much for listening. Back to the podcast.
So when I came out of prison, my spirit got some healing. So I started wanting to do good. I had teachings of my grandpa. I remembered the culture. I witnessed what culture can do for me. So I started going seeking it. I decided I'm not going to drink again, because drinking leads to the fighting, the stealing, the drugs. That environment, I didn't want nothing to do with it. But I didn't know how. I kept failing. I would go a whole year, basically hide in my room. I don't talk to no cousins. I don't go hang out with nobody. Eh? They're all calling me. And it's like, no, I don't want that. You call me over there, I drink.
Yeah.
So I stayed home. I worked. I hung out with my kids. But then something, I got a feeling of sadness or loneliness. Or got some anger came up. Bam, I'm drinking again. This started being a cycle, of me relapsing, they call it. And I could stop, but I couldn't stay stopped. Years and years I was struggling with this, and every time I failed, I felt worse. I'd look in the mirror and I'd say, JP, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep doing this? You don't want to drink. You know it doesn't work. You're always in trouble. Why do you keep doing it? I talk to myself in the mirror, Sometimes I'd say, JP, you're an idiot. I had all this, I'm not good enough. I don't measure up. I don't fit in. I don't belong. My dad called me stupid, idiot, good for nothing, retarded. damn, you're stupid, damn, you're dumb, what's wrong with you? My siblings, older siblings, called me stupid, dummy, every name in the book, eh? And I was looking in the mirror and I was calling myself an idiot. So anyways, my brother, my younger brother, same struggles as me, eh? He says, I'm going to the treatment center. Because I went to a treatment center and I came back, I was sober about a year. And he says, I'm going. So I drove him there, eh? Next year he didn't come back. 6 years he didn't want to come back to the reserve because he knew as soon as you come back to the reserve, you fall back into the drinking, the drugging, the violence, the behaviors.
Triggered to.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So anyways, when I had had enough, I asked him, I said, how do you do it? Can you help me? And he says, if you're serious, brother, I'll take you to a meeting. So he took me to an AA meeting. And he showed me AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. Meetings at the North Shore Lano Club, meetings in Vancouver, a whole bunch of meetings out in Surrey. He showed me all the fellowships, eh? Introduced me to a lot of people. So he got me connected in that way. But I found a little group up here that I called my home group. And I went there every Tuesday night. It was Narcotics Anonymous. There was a lovely lady there that basically ran it. And she was always so happy to see me. So, and she got me, JP, come early. And help set up the chairs. And help set out the literature. At the end of the meeting, stay and take down. Oh, let's go for coffee after. So her kindness got me connected there. And then I got a sponsor. Hardest thing I ever did was ask a stranger for help. My pride and my ego. I asked this guy who I thought was a really good prospect, eh? I said, can you be my sponsor? And he's an older fellow, been in the program for years. He says, no. And my heart just dropped. That feeling of abandonment came up, not good enough. And he says, no, because he's seen my expression, my face, and my head drop, eh? And he says, no, it's not you. He says, I don't do the work. My step 4 is in my top drawer still. So he says, there's a guy over there. They were celebrating a cake. And he says, that guy over there, he sponsors people. Go ask him. So it was a little room, and it seemed like a mile-long walk over there. And he was in this group of people socializing and laughing. And I kind of interrupted him. And I was like, tugged on his jacket, and I was like, excuse me, sir. Can you be my sponsor? And I felt this small, eh?
Wow.
And he looks at me and he says, how long have you been sober? And I said, 3 months now. He says, wow, that's good. He says, I tell you what, I'm starting a step group at this place and at this time. If you show up there, I'll sponsor you. So it was at the North Shore Lano Club.
Okay.
And the group was Cocaine Anonymous, a different fellowship than Narcotics Anonymous. But there was 3 guys that had long-term sobriety, and there were 6 newcomers in that group. And these guys walk you through the 12 steps. So the first step, I learned what addiction was. I learned that addiction is a disease. And it's actually in the DSM, the Book of Diseases. It's a fatal disease, just like cancer, diabetes, kills millions of people.
Yeah.
And they described it. They said, how they described it was, spiritually you're sick, you're disconnected.
Yeah.
You don't fit in, you don't measure up, you don't belong, you're not good enough. You feel like garbage in your own skin.
Yeah.
without the drugs and alcohol, you can't manage any feelings. So I related to that. I was like, man, you know, when I get up in the morning, I want to go see my friends. I got to have a couple of beer. You know, if like I'm going to meet a girl, I got to have a couple of beer. Without it, oh man, like I'm not good enough. I'm not handsome. I'm not strong. I'm not tough. I'm not a good dancer. Couple of beers, I'm John Travolta.
Hey, got the
Handsomest guy in the
moves.
party. Oh, the toughest too. That's what alcohol did for me.
Yeah.
It did everything that I couldn't do for myself. So I
A
couldn't,
companion
yeah,
to you.
so I
becomes
couldn't
a friend.
cope in life. So I learned that I had this disease, and I was spiritually sick, and my life was unmanageable, which means I couldn't manage anything without alcohol. So the second part of the disease is that you obsess. You have an obsessive mind. As soon as your eyes open, you think, how can I drink today? How can I get drugs today? I can't cope without it. I need it. So it's a constant thought of using until you do use. The third part of the disease is you have an allergy to it, eh? Like if I'm allergic to a bee, I get a sting. The reaction is I swell up, right?
Right.
So how I'm allergic to the alcohol or drugs, as soon as it hits my system, my craving swells up. Once it hits my system, my craving goes from maybe 10 to 1,000. They call it a phenomena of craving because no one could really understand the amount of craving, how much you crave. So once you have one beer, you're screwed. There's no way you're not drinking that whole 12. Of course, they sell them in 12s.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I learned I was alcoholic. I had this disease. That was why I couldn't stop. That's why I obsessed over drinking every time I had a feeling. All those times looking in the mirror saying, JP, what's wrong with you? They just taught me in 2 pages what was wrong with me, what the problem was. I was spiritually sick. I obsessed over drinking and using. Once I had a sip, I couldn't stop. No wonder I drank for days and days and days. No wonder I went on benders. So when I learned that I had this disease, I said, oh, I have that. I'm an alcoholic. And I admitted it, and I accepted it, and I learned that this disease, it's a lifelong disease. Once you learn how to manage it on a daily basis, one day at a time, you can't stop doing this work. You can't just get sober for 5 years and say, I'm good. Because when you stop doing the work, the alcoholic mind comes back, brings you right back to those behaviors of being irritable, restless, and then discontent. So I learned that I got to continuously work on myself. I got to continuously strive to be better, to do the right thing. And what was really hard, or the really key components in that program, is being a part of. Because addiction, it's a disconnection. You're disconnected. Trauma is being disconnected. How trauma works is when you're born, when you're in your mommy's womb, you're connected to her heart. They beat as one. As soon as you're born, they cut that umbilical cord. You're disconnected. You're like, Mama, where's the heartbeat?
Yeah.
That's trauma.
They bring
Every
babies
single human on the earth has that trauma of being disconnected from their mom. If it's your mom or your dad that picks you up, you feel that heartbeat, you feel safe, you feel loved and nurtured.
Yeah.
When your parents are maybe alcoholic, start being abusive, start abandoning you, not coming home, maybe disappearing for weeks, months. When they are back, they can't stand you. You're just a nuisance. You're a pain in the butt. They abuse you. There's no more hugs. There's no more I love you. No more heartbeat. It's so hard on us, eh? Being disconnected, because naturally human beings, we're loving. Right from when we're born to be nurtured, loved, hugged, affection, all that good stuff. So that trauma is a disconnection. Addiction is a disconnection. So they teach you that, how to start connecting to people again. When I went to that meeting, people are like, JP, it's so good to see you. I'm like, oh man, I haven't had that for a while.
Hey, somebody's happy to see me.
People weren't happy to see me out there. So
Yeah.
I got a fellowship, a group, a family. But mainly, they said, what you got to do, because the fellowship will be here for you. You now understand what addiction is. You have this fellowship, this family. But the mind is so powerful, it's going to lead you back. Your mind's always out to get you loaded again. So you got to stay spiritually connected. You got to heal that spirit. If you're spiritually connected, you're strong. If you're not, your mind leads you into fear. Everyone has fear, and your mind will run with that fear and get you loaded. So they said you have to find a higher power. And a lot of people in there were saying God. And I wanted to run out of there because I didn't want nothing to do with God.
Yeah.
Me and my family and my community, we didn't like religion. There's a lot of people that have turned to religion, but
Tied to our trauma in many cases
most
for people.
from residential school, they shied away or hated religion. So when I heard God, it scared me, eh? And I wanted to run out of there, but they said no. What we have in here, it's called a higher power. It could be a God of your own understanding. And it could be anything you want. It could be the water, could be the stars, could be the universe, could be Allah, Buddha, Jesus, whatever you want it to be. It's a God of your own understanding. And somebody said, well, I try to think of my God as somebody who watches over me. Somebody who's kind, loving, caring, not condemning, not judging. Like, this is my higher power. And right away I thought of my grandpa. Because my grandpa, he used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, he would say, grandson, one day I won't be here. And I was like, well, where will you be? And he says, well, when my time comes, I'm going to go up there with the ancestors. And when I go up there, they're all going to welcome me home, and they're going to celebrate, they're going to dance, they're going to feast. He says, it's going to be wonderful. And he says, when I'm up there, I'm going to watch over you. I love you. He always said, I love you, and he's going to watch over me when he's up there. So right away, my higher power is my grandpa. He loves me, cares for me. I trust him. I believe every word he ever told me. So I had my higher power. So how that worked for me, I started losing people. As you go through life, you lose people. They pass away. Some tragic, some through addiction, suicide. I started going to these funerals, and all through my life, I went through a lot of funerals. Friends, relatives. And how the community dealt with it. After the funeral, we all go drink. But what I noticed is when I got sober, I had to sit with those feelings because I stopped drinking. And then I knew there was a party down the street. I could hear the music. I knew my cousins and friends and aunts and uncles, they're all there. And I'm sitting at home. I'm missing my relative. And I started to cry because I wanted to be with them. I wanted to be with that. And then, so I knew if I went there, I was going to drink. So I started having this dilemma. Do I stay in these feelings I'm not used to? Like, I always buried them, pushed them out, and buried them with alcohol. So right then I said, Grandpa, and I started crying. I said, just help me. Don't let me drink. I don't want to go back to that life. And it felt like a blanket came over me, and laid me down. So I laid down. I woke up in the morning. I opened the front door, and I swear the clouds parted. The sun shined right on my face, right in the front doorway here. Just warmed me up, and I was like, oh man, the birds are chirping. I'm feeling great. The sun's on my face. And I remembered, and I just said, thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me not drink.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized the importance of being connected to your higher powers. When stuff hits the fan, you're going to need that higher power to get you through the toughest times in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get bombarded by things. People dying, losing jobs, losing wives, kids. It could go on and on and on, and it can pile up. When it all hits the fan, you're going to need a higher power just to let you know everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody up there loves you.
Tap way.
So that's, it's easy to stay sober when everything's good.
Yeah.
When things are going great, oh yeah, sobriety's easy. It's a blast, but unfortunately, life happens.
Would you say that after you got sober, things just started getting better around you?
100% better. They do a thing called step 4. In step 4, you write a resentment list. All the people you're mad at.
Did you need a scroll?
Yeah.
Did you need a book?
I had pages and pages. Because from being picked on as a little kid,
Oh, yeah.
siblings, cousins, being beat up in the community, parents abandoning me, parents beating me up, parents and siblings, everyone calling you stupid. Had troubles with authority. Didn't like authority, whether it's a teacher, a policeman, even a paramedic. Anybody in authority positions I had trouble with.
Right.
Of course, I was upset with the judges who threw me in jail, the jail guards. The list went on and on and on. So they got me to write it all down. Every resentment I could think of since I was a kid. The next column. What did they do? How did they harm me? Well, my girlfriend cheated on me. My dad beat me. The judge threw me in jail. All the things they did.
Yeah.
Why I was mad at them. Why I resent them. How resentment works, if someone steps on your toe, the next day you should be all good. Hey, Coda.
We're just filming a pod. How's it going?
Hi, Coda.
I just wondered what I would use to wash these hats. Like you got like
Dishwasher?
hats? Yeah. Or like bleach or something.
I'm not sure.
Should I ask Grandma?
I've never washed a hat before, but yeah. I heard the dishwasher though.
You want me to wash the hat in the dishwasher?
Set it on a rack and let her go.
How do I?
Yeah.
I've never washed a hat before either.
He just buys a new one.
No, mom washed my hats and destroyed all of them. So definitely don't put them in the washer.
Yeah, the washer wrecks them.
Yeah, not this
I think you
mom.
gotta hand wash it. You gotta like scrub it like with a toothbrush.
I don't know. My husband's solution to the hat thing is just to buy more hats. He has a lifetime supply of hats.
He's
He
got a
only
life-
has one head.
He's got a lifetime subscription to frickin' Temu. Anyway.
Yeah,
What was
hats
the question?
and shoes.
You were talking about resentment. Would you like to be a guest on Our Storytellers? Because all you have to do to connect with us is just email info@ourstorytellers.ca and we will get back to you as soon as possible. That sounds like a voicemail, which I think is hilarious.
But if you email us, we'll give you a call and we'll listen to your story and we'll probably film it. So please reach out to us if you're interested in being a guest, because we love to share stories from all walks of life, from all different experiences. We think that everybody's story is valuable and that you can learn from anybody's story. So please email us and we'll schedule a call with you as soon as we can. That also sounds like a voicemail, but back to the podcast.
What resentment is?
What resentment is?
Step on your toe. Next day should be over it.
Yeah,
Should be okay.
Your bruise goes away. Whether they say sorry or not, the next day you let it go.
Yeah.
But how it is with people with addiction or trauma, somebody steps on your toe. 2 weeks later, you're still like, you're not letting stuff go.
Right.
And what it is it's poison. It's poison for your mind. It's poison for your whole system, eh? That anger, that resentment, it turns into sickness, eh? It could turn into diabetes. It could turn into cancer. Turn into all sort of things, eh? But for the alcoholic, it means death. When you hold resentments, you're gonna drink again. It's a fatal disease you have. I know tons and tons of people who died from alcoholism.
Yeah.
That's my fate. If I stay down that path, sooner or later I'm gonna be dead from alcoholism. So resentment's the number one offender.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure sickness. It's poison.
Right.
We got to get rid of it. So we learn about it. We write it down. All your resentments and who harmed you. The effects it had on you. So how it affected me, it affected my, what they did or said, it affected my self-esteem. It affected my relationships with siblings, with girlfriends. All my relationships were affected. It affected my career, my school, my teachings, my pocketbook. It affected everything about me. So in the last column, the common denominator of all those things is your fears. So what are my fears? Well, I fear I'm not good enough. I fear I don't belong. I definitely have this fear that I'm not loved. Nobody loves me. My dad just beats me, calls me an idiot, stupid. He don't love me. My mom never stepped in to protect me. She don't love me. My siblings call me an idiot, a sissy, a punk. They hit me too. They don't love me. No one in the community loves me. The cops. The list went on and on and on. I had this fear of abandonment. Fear of not being loved. Who loved me? My grandpa loved me. My higher power loved me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to turn the table, eh? Let's say you're my dad. I gotta put myself in your shoes. Okay, so now I'm an alcoholic. I know that I have this disease. I know the behaviors. Now that I'm sober and I'm trying to help other people, I try to help other alcoholics. I don't judge them. Oh man, I did all that stuff. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to help you get sober and help you get a better life. That's our new purpose, eh? Is to help others. That's how I got sober. Some people took their time out who got sober to help me. Now my purpose in life is to help others. Anybody who's an alcoholic, I got to help them. I just can't. No, man, you fucked up. I can't help you. So I turn the table and I look at my dad. My dad was in residential school. Just tortured as a child, beaten, shamed, molested, raped, seen other kids happen to them, seen kids get killed. You know, all the stories of residential school, my dad was in there. So now I have an understanding at this point of what my dad went through as a child. Why that discipline was enforced in that way. They're trying to protect me. He's an alcoholic. He has this disease. He has this trauma. So now I got to say, hey, do I judge him? No. Did he love me? He loved me. He cared for me. He went to work. He paid bills. He put clothes on my back. Fed me. And I remember I started remembering good things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I kind of forgot where I was. But at the end of the fears, when I turn the table and I look at other people, I start to understand their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have compassion for them. And I want to help them. I want to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
So I start forgiving people. I forgive myself for all the wrongs I've done to people. I make amends to people. Hey, I did this. How can I make things right? So once I went through that resentment list, I got rid of all my anger. Just let it all go. I gave it up. I gave it up to my higher power. So I forgive. Clean slate. And then I look at all the wrongs that I did. And I tell somebody, I write down all the wrongs I did in my life. Everything from my morals to stealing, physical harm, mental abuse, anything that I ever did to anybody. I write that list. Then I write an amends list of, I'm going to go out into my family and my community and I'm going to make things right. I'm not going to go to someone and say, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I said sorry 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know what I did after I said I was sorry? I went and did it again and again. I'm sorry. Did it again. People don't want to hear sorry,
Yeah.
So I started
carry
making
weight.
amends. So how amends work is I go to somebody and I say, hey, I quit drinking. I changed my ways. I'm trying to be a better human being. I'm trying to do the right things. In order for me to stay sober, I have to make amends to people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I harmed you in this way. Can I make an amends to you? Can I have a few moments of your time? And most of the time they're like, sure. So I'd say, hey, that thing you had in your backyard that went missing?
Oops.
Oh yeah, I was wondering whatever happened to that thing. I stole it from you.
Wow.
I needed more alcohol.
Yeah.
I went in your backyard and I stole it. It was a generator or something. And I made amends to a lot of my family, And they all just said, JP, don't worry. We forgive you. You're doing amazing. You're sober for years now. You're helping other people. Your behaviors have changed. We're proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We're proud of you. So,
The kindness and love.
A lot of those amends I made, But
Yeah.
some of them bothered me because they were still hidden. Secrets will keep you sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go. This one guy who every day going to work, he was driving by and he's always smiling and waving at me. And it was tugging at me because I stole his generator. So one day I stopped him and I said, hey, could I have a moment of your time? And I said, I need to make an amends to you. He says, you did nothing to me, JP.
Yeah.
I says, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it, but I know about it. And I said, remember that generator in your backyard? He says, yeah, I wondered what happened to that thing. I said, well, I took it. And a lot of times when I was making amends, people are like, don't worry about it. And I thought this was going to be one of those, And I was like, how can I make it up to you? He's like, yeah, $400. I'm like, damn.
Put your money where your
I
mouth
looked
is,
at my
baby.
wallet and I said, I got 50. But I said, I'm working. Every 2 weeks I get a paycheck.
Cool.
I'll give you $50 every paycheck. He says, yeah, sure, great. And so the next payday I went and gave him another 50. He says, you know what? He says, I see your carvings. They're nice. He says, I need an address sign. I'd like a raven. He says, you make me that, we'll call it square.
Beautiful.
So I was so happy to come home and carve him this raven with his address. He still has it. Eh?
Wow.
And then he's like, JP, we're so proud of you. Like,
Cool.
We never knew you did us any wrong. Like, I never suspected you stole my generator, but you just came and you made amends to me. You made things right. And we didn't even know about it. We would have never known.
Yeah.
But I would have known. So those are some of the things I had to do to, they call it spiritual maintenance. Eh? So now that I cleared all my resentments, all my anger, my hatred, and everything I've done wrong, I let it all go. I got a clean slate. Once I have that clean slate, I don't start throwing stuff back on there.
Yeah. It took a while to get there.
I start to move forward in a good way. I feel good about myself. I'm proud. I got this integrity. I'm spiritually connected. I have a second chance. Eh? So all I do is I wake up and I thank the Creator for another day. And then my second prayer is, who can I help today? Instead of what can I get off this reserve today? Where can I get money? How can I get that new truck? Me. It's all self-centered, eh?
Yeah.
That's how the mind works. And society. You need that boat. You need that big truck. You need that 4x4. Or, the list goes on and on and on.
Endless.
When you start to get into self, the fear comes back. The fear comes back because if that thing you want seems too far away or there's too many people in the way, you start to try to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind starts scheming. Yeah, you start to get very ambitious, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And the spiritual way of helping people starts to go to the side. So I always gotta stay out of self-centered, self-seeking. Self-pity's another one. Oh man, I can't get that thing. I'm no good. I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
The mind always tries to lead you back, so you gotta have that spiritual maintenance. You gotta wake up in the morning and pray. Say, who can I help today?
Mm-hmm.
No. I think of my grandfather. His name's Kotla Chan. All the good he did. My grandfather, he got sober in his 30s. He was one of the first ones in AA. Alcoholics Anonymous was formed in 1939.
Cool.
Yeah, my grandfather was got sober and around that time.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was a residential school survivor. He was a longshoreman. He had a lot of kids, a lot of responsibility. And he would go and get drunk. And he'd come home. And my mom said he'd flip tables over and he'd be aggressive and abusive. And my grandma, tiny little thing, gave him an ultimatum. She said, you quit drinking or I'm leaving. And he quit.
Yeah.
He was one of the first ones in AA. He started forming meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous. The Native Friendship Center on Commercial and Hastings.
Mm-hmm.
They got that room in there. It's called the Chief Simon Baker Room.
Yeah.
That's where they hold AA meetings, and they've held them there for a long time. So
Cool.
he was sober for 60 years. 60 years of sobriety. He helped a lot of people. Yesterday I seen on Facebook my relative from Tsleil-Waututh, Justin George, his dad Leonard George, when he stopped drinking, he said my grandpa was a huge influence on him. he went down there and would take him to meetings and support him and hang out with his family. And my grandpa did that for a lot of people. Really lived up to that name, Cutlacha, man with a kind heart.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid and I'd always run to my grandpa for advice, and he'd have all these sayings, eh? And I used to think to myself, my grandpa's the wisest man in the world. How does he know all this stuff, eh? And I realized as I started living through sobriety and going to meetings that he learned a lot of it from Alcoholics Anonymous, eh?
Wow.
A lot of it from Alcoholics Anonymous, helping people. So yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I think I start praying, who can I help today? And giving back. You know, I've had this art, native art, since I was a kid, and I was inspired by my grandpa because he was a carver too. My Haida family, my great-grandfather Mark Spence was a totem pole carver. He carved totem poles all on Vancouver Island at Victoria Square. I've always had this carving. When I grew up, when my dad would come home drunk, I'd jump out the window and I'd go to my neighbors, and there was a group of people that would carve there. No sleep. By 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd fall asleep on his couch. And most kids are going to school at 9 in the morning, but he got tired of me sleeping on his couch, and he'd give me some sandpaper and get me to sand his carvings and stuff. But, yeah, but I had this carving, but I also, my dad put me in work boots when I was 16, dropped me off at the work site, so I was doing all sorts of construction and stuff, and I did all this labor and stuff, and I was working for the Squamish Nation community operations, and we'd do a lot of junk removal and landscaping for elders, cleaning gutters. We did everything, eh? And I did that for about, I think, 8 years. And then one day I got this massive pain in my stomach when I was lifting a fridge. And I thought I had a hernia or something, or I pulled something, and then the doctor said it was gallstones. Then they did further x-rays, and then they told me I had cancer. They said I had stage 3 cancer, a massive tumor on my kidney. If it didn't come out immediately, I was going to die. So they did. Emergency operation, took my whole kidney out. I was cancer-free. Yeah. I had to do checkups every 3 months, 6 months, but they got it all out just in time, man. And then I realized that I wanted to do more. I didn't want to just do construction anymore. So I went, because in the program I was helping a lot of people, and people were saying, you should get into the field. So I did. I went to this college called NVIT out in Burnaby.
Yeah.
And I had all this fear because with all my childhood trauma, I had a hard time learning. Eh? When you have trauma, your brain switches. There's a switch that goes from the frontal cortex, which is the thinker, the problem solver. When you have trauma, you go to the back.
Survival stuff.
Yeah.
Survival.
And when I was in school, I was wondering why I couldn't get stuff. I was wondering why I couldn't learn. I learned that because when I went to NVIT, they taught me about trauma. They taught me that when your brain sees a threat, it's survival mode. Basically, your brain's saying, hey, you're going to die. It goes fight or flight, man. Like run or fight or flight. Like all this adrenaline pours through you. So your brain thinks you're going to die. So anything foreign, your brain sees it as a threat. So if there's algebra coming at you, your brain says, hey, you're going to die.
Gonna kill
That's
you.
how it works.
Yeah.
So when I went to NVIT, they taught me about trauma. But they also had culture. First thing in the morning, we did a talking circle and we talk about what's going on, and they smudged. That sacred medicine calms you down. You get spiritually connected. You let go of things. And at the end of the day, we did it again. Another smudge, another sharing circle. So we're able to release. Yeah. So I was able to absorb things, teachings, learnings. And I knew about my trauma. I knew about those sensations, my blood boiling, the shakiness. I knew when I was triggered. I knew how to do deep breathing, how to stomp my feet on the ground to get grounded. Tell my brain that physically, hey, I'm here. I'm not that little boy anymore. Now I would yell it out. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man. You know the saying, hey, pinch yourself to wake up.
Yeah.
You got to do that. You got to tell your brain to switch it back.
Yeah.
Switch that thing back so you could learn again. You have to tell yourself that you're safe. Yeah, so, man, I was top of the class. Top grades.
Let's go.
Flying colors, got a degree, chemical addictions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I became a native court worker. I worked for Native Court Workers of BC, and they had me down at the courthouse on 222 Main Street.
Wow.
And I would go down into the cells and support Indigenous people. A lot of them just kids. Some of them went out Friday night drinking, wound up there.
Yeah.
Scared, never been in jail before.
Yeah.
A lot of them are facing some huge barriers, some big charges. And I get to go and be their support. Say, hey, you're going to be okay. I'm supporting you. Do you want to smudge? I'm gonna connect you with a lawyer. I'm gonna get you legal aid. I'm gonna contact your family. I'm gonna get you connected to culture, to counseling. It was hard for me because in school I was taught how to counsel people, and I was really good at it. And in there I couldn't counsel them. All I could do is refer them out.
Really?
One day I seen on the list of people in custody, I looked on the list and it said Spence.
Uh-oh.
I went down the cell and it was my older brother Brian. And he got fighting with his girlfriend or abusing his girlfriend. They're drinking, got in a fight. Or maybe he hit her or pushed her or something, I don't know. But he was in jail. And I went down there in my suit, my paperwork. I felt like a lawyer, eh? And he looks up and he says, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm coming to get you out, bro."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. My brother Brian, about 5 or 6 years older than me, had all the same trauma, alcoholism, in and out of jail, but he never did the program or culture. Eh? He was a carver, and eventually he passed away from addiction. My other older sibling too, Wendy. Yeah, they went right to the end there, drinking and drugging.
Yeah.
And that fatal disease catches up to you. And I lost siblings, cousins, nieces. So, yeah, but being that native court worker, I was able to help people, and then eventually I became an addictions counselor. And I was helping, I was working on the downtown East End, and I got connected to all the organizations down there. So I knew all the events, all the organizations, all the culture. I got this huge network of people in the helping field, and we help a lot of people.
So after, thank you so much for sitting here and just sharing with us. Like,
Yeah,
it means so much, and
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have to come back and record you again because, like, you've taught me so much. I feel like in the past 2 hours here, we're rolling it, but we do eventually run out of memory in these bad boys.
Yeah.
So, but we ask a couple of questions to everybody that's on the podcast, and the first one is, what do you want, like, was that your son that popped in you?
That's my son,
That's
Coda.
your son,
Yeah.
Coda?
Yeah.
What do you want, like, Coda's and I's generation to start actioning and doing today?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think about it all the time. And I'm really happy my son Coda's here. He's carving with me. And this carving, he did that carving. He's got some other big carvings. And when he was a little boy, 4 or 5 years old, he would come in the shop with sandpaper and he'd sand my carvings. He's so proud of it, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
His very first carving, he took all of my expensive acrylic paints. I think they were $10 a jar. He took like 4 different colors and poured them all. And he made this, I hung it up somewhere, but it's this beautiful sound with all these different layers of paint. And
Wow.
I could have got upset with him and said, hey, you spilled out all my paint. But I said, hey, nice job. Look, that's beautiful. And I kept it, eh?
Yeah.
So I always try to be positive with my kids and be a positive role model, like my grandfather was to me.
Yeah.
And one thing I really, really hope and try to inspire my children is the culture. I ask my kids if they want to make a drum. I know how to make drums. Seeing my son here carving with me, I told you he brought his schoolmates when he was in Carson. They were filming me too.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him, they said, what do you love about doing this native art with your dad? And he says, I love the fact that me and my dad are bonding.
That's so cool.
Me and my dad are building a really good relationship. We're doing a lot of bonding. It's not just learning how to carve.
Mm-hmm.
He's learning how to be in a relationship, how to have a relationship with his dad, father, son.
Yeah.
He's learning a lot about how I walk in a good way, how I talk, how I behave, how I act. He's learning a lot, eh?
Mm-hmm.
He's learning, he's watching me do all this culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
that's what you'd like us to do, is learn the culture, watch, participate.
you know, at
Build relationships.
At one time there was a culture ban. They did it for a reason. They knew the grandfather had all these teachings. To assimilate that grandchild, the Western people, they didn't have a chance against Grandpa.
They had to sever.
They had to take the children out of the setting, bring them far away where they couldn't run home, and try to beat that culture out of them. The language, the medicines and the trees, the culture, the songs, the regalia, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even their long hair. That long hair represents bravery. Cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
They try to cut the culture off because they knew they couldn't assimilate them into Western society. So all those years, the culture brand, the knowledge keepers, they practice underground, eh?
Mm-hmm.
One of my teachers said that their people love to use the rattle in their ceremony. And, they had Indian agents that come into your home. If they seen you with the eagle feather or a drum or a rattle, they put you in prison. They take you out of the home, put you in prison.
Mm-hmm.
They had a prison over here called Ocala, maximum penitentiary, filled up with indigenous people. Half of them in there were in there for practicing culture.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
our elders knew they had to keep it, practice it underground. They had metal salt and pepper shakers. They emptied it out And they drilled a hole in the bottom, they put a stick on there, and they put rocks in there. They had a rattle, and they would do their ceremony.
Yeah.
After they're done their ceremony, they take it all apart and put it back on the shelf. The Indian agent come in and say, "Nope, nothing here."
Wow.
They practice it underground like that because
Yeah.
they knew it was going to be the healing for the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah.
The 100 years of residential school, what was happening to the children, trying to take them away and disconnect them and beat that culture out of them. The grandparents were like, no, we're keeping this underground. We're keeping that because they knew the significance of how I connect with my grandfather. The spirituality, how we connect to the water, the trees, the land, everything.
Yeah.
That saying, not so much, or all my relations. We have a relationship to each other, not only as human beings, but spiritually, and spiritually connected to everything. So they try to take that away. So now my grandpa started the very first powwow down here, 1970 or 1971. And a lot of people said, the powwow's not our way. My grandfather was an honorary chief in the prairies because he went back there and he helped them to do land claims and stuff. And he was an honorary chief in Seychelles. And he was an honorary chief here. And he did a lot of good work. And he brought a lot of culture. So that's what we now have an opportunity to give all these teachings to our children and grandchildren for them to carry it on. There's no more culture ban. We got to get rid of that stigma of Indians are lazy.
Yeah.
They're good for nothing. They live off of the government's welfare. You know, all that stigma which is lies. Our people are the rightful owners of all of Canada, North America. We were the first people here. We had access to all the land, all the water, all the food, all the medicines.
Yeah.
Everybody had a place in the community. They all had shelter, they all had clothing, they all had food. We had an abundance of everything.
We cared
It
for
was
each
heaven
other.
on earth
Yeah.
before Europeans came. We lived in a miraculous way. And unfortunately, extracting, cutting down trees, digging up fossil fuels has destroyed the earth there. People are now saying, hey, we should listen to indigenous people. Now they have Truth and Reconciliation, where they're saying, hey, the Pope apologized. The presidents, prime ministers are apologizing. They have that thing called UNDRIP, where they have calls to action. One time, Native people weren't allowed to own land. You weren't allowed to run a business. You weren't allowed to sell things. This little tiny piece of land that they gave you, if you grew fruit on there, you weren't allowed to sell it. You weren't allowed to sell salmon. You weren't allowed to sell meat. So it's now, the truth's been told. The children have been uncovered at the residential school, the graveyards. Truth's out there. People are making apologies and hopefully making amends, doing the right thing. Because if they had respected us in our land, because we lived in a way where we respected each other. We respected the land, we respected the water, the animals. And it all was nourished and flourished there. Abundance of everything. The buffalo covered miles and miles, and people not only lived off the buffalo was a part of them. They prayed to the buffalo clothed them, fed them. They had ceremonies that honored the buffalo. Coast Salish people had the salmon people, the salmon fed the people, fed the animals. That nitrogen fed the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
All those massive old growth trees that were tens of thousands years old. 10,000-year-old cedar tree. That's how long the land was looked after.
Mm-hmm.
We knew how to live.
Mm-hmm.
We had the teachings of not to look after everything and everything will look after you.
Mm-hmm.
We might not be able to get back to that. We say that they brought it too far, like we're about to go over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. There's a short window. They say there's a short window of correcting their wrongs.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people are now respecting Indigenous people, saying, hey, we did wrong by you. You know, it feels good to hear that apology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my struggles as a child were the result of that.
Yeah.
My addiction, my trauma, my abuse, my anger, all the loss in the community, all the people who have died. It's all the result of that residential school and government assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people treated me different.
The
It was-
creation of oppressive legislation to enforce really impacted so everything.
Yeah, now when I see the powwow flourishing, when I see the amount of people that we have in the sweat lodge, I follow that motto, all my relations. We're all related. In the sweat lodge, we hang 4 flags in 4 directions. They're 4 different colors. In the east, we hang a red ribbon, represents Indigenous people. That invites them, opens the doorway for them to come into ceremony because it's a healing place. Mm-hmm. In the west, we hang a black one, represents African descent, inviting them into ceremony. In the north, we hang that white one, represents European. And then to the east, where the sun comes up, that yellow one represents Asian people. That's representing the entire human race, eh? Mm-hmm. There's a lot more in between and around those. But basically, those 4 directions represent the human race, saying, I see you and recognize and honor you as a human being. You could come into ceremony and heal. That's why we hang those, and our people hung those for thousands of years, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That sweat lodge has been around 10,000 years longer.
Yeah.
They were hanging those in there before the Europeans even came. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the motto I follow. And if we look after and respect each other, we have a chance of fixing a lot of the problems of human beings and Mother Nature, but mainly healing our own spirits. Eh?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Would you like to dedicate this podcast to anybody?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna dedicate it to my children. I have 5 boys. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy dad.
Bubsy. His name's Jackson, but we still call him Bubsy. He's 7. And then Finley is 11. And then Coda, who you just seen here, he's 21 now. He used to be my little Bubsy.
Nice.
He used to be my baby boy. And then Hunter, he's 24. Mm-hmm. And then Jake is 24. So my 5 boys.
Nice.
Yeah, dedicate this to them. Hopefully they see it and get a good message. Mm-hmm. I always try to share messages of hope. Through all my struggles, I came out strong, resilient, kind, loving, caring. I'm connected connected to my ancestors, my culture. You know, I love life. I have a good outlook, and I always share as much good as I can. So my message is to get connected culturally, learn the language. You know, if it's fishing, if it's hunting, if it's out picking berries, harvesting medicines, weaving, beading, drumming, singing, so
Yeah.
much culture.
Mm-hmm.
Any of it, learn it, get connected.
Well, we thank you so much for sitting and just hanging out with us and teaching us for the last few hours here. It means so much, and we'll keep going. But I think we should also do this again too with you
Yeah.
and Coda.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure he would love to. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think-
yet. He might be too shy, but we'll see.
We'll
You gotta
figure it
get
out.
him on a good day.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
You
bring him
know,
some money.
When you guys were coming, I was like, oh no, I got a lot of work to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
it'll be an hour. Once I get talking.
It's never an hour.
Yeah.
It's never an hour.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't. It's like, you know, when you sit down and we're really grateful that you would spend some time, invite us into your sacred space, your shop,
Yeah, for
where
sure.
all the beautiful work is done.
Yeah.
You know, invite us into your space. You know, our family has been on a walking in a traditional way for a very long time, and you know, for me, I introduced my kids because I wasn't allowed to be called Squamish till I was 20.
Yeah.
You know, and that journey to learn was very, very difficult in a lot of ways, right? You know, like I understand when you talk about resentment with family and resentment with all kinds of things, because it comes from a number of different places, right? So
Yeah.
when you start on that spiritual journey and you start connecting, it takes a long time to learn, to understand, to remember the teachings that your grandparents gave you as children.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I was one of the only ones in this generation who knew our grandparents. So, you know, I had visions, I had visits, I had interactions with my grandparents here on this plane, but did not understand so much of it till I got a lot older and became an adult, till I understood who I was.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it takes a long time. And when you have children and then you start to bring them into it too, it's foreign to them till they start to understand. Unless they start from that being they first arrive here, where we're singing them here, we're welcoming them in our way, and then they're surrounded by that love in that way. You know, Riel came to me when he was 10, but he's the same gift as all of my children are, my 4 children. So I have, you know, so much gratitude coming to sit with our families and sit with people from our space. So it's always very, very, very much with gratitude that we do all of this
Yeah.
as well. So, hi, kinin askon tumanao.
Thank you.
Gratitude.
What's the